Mo, you're muted.
You're on
Oh,
mute.
you're on
Mo.
mute, bro.
You're still muted?
I bottled
Yeah.
people. I absolutely bottled it. I'm not muted now, am I?
No, you're good now.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, people. Sorry, the mic changed from the football terrace to here. Listen, this is the Arsenal glazing stream, of course. This is the clickbait Arsenal stream, of course. We're here glazing Arsenal. Absolutely. Of course, 100%. We did the City glazing stream yesterday. If you haven't watched that, of course, yesterday, go and watch it. It was absolutely amazing. It was a great stream with all the City fans that go to the stadium, all of them, plus Pat from Australia as well, Hamza as well. So this stream, Gunnar Souls is going to be joining us momentarily. He just come back from work, and he's going to be joining us in about 15 minutes. A big up everybody that is here. We got, of course, Martin here, regular with us. As always, Martin is here. We got Ashraf is here, of course, with us. Big up Ashraf that is here. TKA. And we got Brandon, who I invited to join the stream. Listen, people, about 400 to 350 people here. So hit that like button if you just joined us. Subscribe to the channel if you're new from the Football Terrace. Big up everybody that joined us from the Football Terrace. We didn't speak Arsenal. Believe it or not, we spent an hour and a half on the Football Terrace and we didn't speak Arsenal. So I thought we only tried to speak only Arsenal today. Hit that like button, people, if you just joined us. Let's get to 300 likes. And if you're watching us on the replay, the first thing you do, guys, is like the video on your way in. There is an echo coming from somebody. I don't know who. But hit that like button. There are a couple of topics we want to speak about. Of course, I actually want to speak about the Arsenal glazing or everything. That's why I actually named the Arsenal game. Are we doing too much praising Arsenal? Generally, you guys are 4 Arsenal fans. And I want the people in the chat to absolutely tell me what you guys think. And I want the people in the chat to tell us, are we over praising Arsenal? And Sam, you're spamming the chat with Juventus. And sometimes you're tapping it wrong, and it's not hurting me, bro. It doesn't matter. Just put something else. Just put something else. Are we over praising Arsenal since you haven't won yet a trophy? Are people actually glazing Arsenal too much?
Who's glazing?
I'm gonna tell you, HUSAM is being accused, and other people are being accused, and also other content creators. Myself, I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm being accused that Mo, you're overpraising Arsenal, saying Arsenal are great. Saying Arsenal, I actually want to discuss this. Am I overpraising Arsenal? Are they not good? Are they not good enough?
Maybe you can define to us what you think of Arsenal, and we can tell you if it's going over the top.
No, but I'm not gonna go through my 500 streams where half of them I spoke about Arsenal. So
I don't remember you saying that much nice stuff about us lately, Mo. I feel like you're always trying to find a problem with our play, our style of play. Are we boring? Do we have any good attackers? I don't actually see this glazing. Honestly, I think that there's actually a bit of a misnomer here because, why do people think making good Arsenal content is clickbaiting? There's not that many more Arsenal fans than anyone else on the internet. There just isn't. There's way more rivals than there are Arsenal fans, and rivals see Arsenal praise and they just dive on these videos. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Clickbaiting is just saying something about Arsenal and then people trying to control the narrative and jumping in there and watching the video. It's not Arsenal fans that are just there oh, please say something nice about us. We know who we are. We know that we've got a pretty good team. I think everyone's pretty relaxed about it. I don't think any of us need praise on our team. We think that there's still issues, but that's just my opinion. I think that there's just a lot of haters out there that feel like they have to stop any kind of good news about Arsenal.
But the reality is, you look good, you aren't winners. I think that is the argument that people make. You aren't winners, bro. You keep I'm gonna play the devil's advocate, right, on this stream, right? I'm always gonna tell you what I think. But also, I'm going to play the devil's advocate. Every single Arsenal fan sit on streams and tell us we're that massive of a club. We're that amazing. We're that big. We have this massive fan base. Our stadium is great. Our players are very good. Our coach is amazing. But then you haven't won yet. That's the reality, bro. The reality is, if I sit on streams and say Inter are this, Inter are that, I haven't won yet. Okay, that actually proves the point that you're not that good yet. You're not.
But who is saying this stuff?
Everyone.
Who?
Martin, when I sit and criticize Arsenal, you don't like it. You yourself
you
don't
ask me questions and make me defend
you
my
don't
club,
like
but I'm
it.
not out here going like, look at my stadium, look at my manager, look at my. I'm not glazing my own team. I'm just defending my own opinions most of the time. I don't think that there's people out there that are just like so positive and deluded that they're. I think this person doesn't exist. And when people say Arsenal fans are so annoying, they never mention anyone in person.
True.
That's where you're wrong. That's where you're
You
wrong.
guys can maybe name who it is, but I don't know who it is.
There are
talking about who? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again, Holly? Because I don't want to get into. Can you repeat that again? What you just said?
This mythical Arsenal fan that's out there that's like praising the team to the higher heavens. Who is it?
It's a lot of people. Are you crazy?
I'll tell you.
Give me a name. Give me a name.
I'll tell you. I'll give you a name. Right? There's a certain somebody who said that he'd pick majority Arsenal players over Real Madrid players. I'm not gonna name them.
Okay, so
Brandon, he said that last season.
Are you talking about 𝐒𝐤𝐿? Are
He
you talking about
apologized
𝐒𝐤𝐿?
for it. He said it was the wrong statement.
No,
Like,
hold on. Are you talking about 𝐒𝐤𝐿?
𝐒𝐤𝐿?
Hang on.
It's fine. 𝐒𝐤𝐿 said what he said because by the way, he believed it. What? I don't see it. By the way, I can debate his argument, right? I can debate his argument back. It doesn't mean he's right. By the way, in my opinion, he was wrong. But also, there's some players that he thinks is right. And let me, you know what, Brandon? Let me prove your point without even you talking. Let me prove your point. Ashraf, is William Saliba one of the best defenders in the world?
He is. Yeah.
Okay. Is Declan Rice one of the best DMs in the world?
Not the best, but up there. Yeah.
Who's better in the world than Declan Rice as a DM?
I would say Rodri. Tchouaméni. I don't know if 𝐒𝐤𝐿 plays that position. I would say 𝐒𝐤𝐿.
No, he does. You can't choose Tchouaméni and 𝐒𝐤𝐿. One.
Yeah, then Tchouaméni. I can't think of much more. I'm not going to put
so he's top three. So he's top three, right?
Yeah.
Who's better than Bukayo Saka on the right wing in the world?
Mohamed Salah. People could argue
Lamine Yamal.
Super close.
All right. Who else? Who else? You're muted. Who else? By the way, people in the chat.
Maybe Rodrigo.
You are people in the chat.
Maybe Rodrigo. Maybe
help. People in the chat. You can help. You can help. Who else?
Maybe Rodrigo, but I actually think it's very close. So yeah, I think he's top 5.
Okay, so Saka's about. Who's better than Odegaard? Who's better than Odegaard?
KDB.
Madison,
I'd argue over the last 1 year.
No. I'm not going to allow you to do this. I am not going to allow you to do this, Martin. We're not going to turn this. I'm trying to prove a point. Right?
What's
Who's better than? Let me ask Ashraf. TK, you are willing to get involved, my friend. Who is better? And Brandon, I'm trying to make a point here. You guys know where I'm going with this, right? Who is better than Odegaard now? You say KDB, who's injured, lost legs. I've heard this. Who is better?
I think Odegaard is better than Foden, but I think Foden, you have to give it to Foden just based on the last couple of years. I mean, he's one player of the year.
Do you think Foden is better than Odegaard?
Over the last 1 year, I would say he performed
close.
Sure.
So Odegaard is one of the best.
Yeah, 100%. It's close.
One of the best.
Yeah, I think in his position, Odegaard is top 5.
Okay, is there a better partnership you can think of than Gabriel and Saliba? Better partnership in the world right now. I get people.
Yeah, I don't know if it's better.
Wait, Martin. Please, Martin. Please.
By the way, I know where he's going with this. He's actually going to prove.
You know where I'm going with it, right?
Yeah, but Mo, you're kind of making the argument. You're making the argument for those Arsenal fans because you yourself think Saka is top 3, top 5 right wingers. You yourself think Saliba is one of the best. You yourself think Declan Rice is top 5.
100%.
You yourself think we have one of the best defensive.
Someone has been watching my content. I like it.
Yeah. So I've been watching it for a long time. Yeah, big fan. But my point is, you as an Inter Milan fan, you're also gassing up Arsenal fans by saying they're one of the best in this position.
Yeah, but I believe it, though. But I believe it.
Yeah. But here's the difference.
I genuinely believe that the partnership is amazing. I believe
agree,
that Saka is one of the best wingers in the world. I believe Odegaard is very, very
wingers,
good.
Not best wingers.
Right wingers.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This is where we need to separate these two things. It's one thing for our fan base to come and say, we have a very good team. We have one of the best players in this position, that position, which I think is true. You don't need to win trophies to be able to say this player is good, or this squad is good, or this is good. However, some fans take it to another level. I agree. And T knows this because I've been with him in the show many times where we've argued with people about this guy's world class. Like, I've not even called Saka world class. Now, I'm probably leaning towards it now. But up until last season, T will vouch with me on this, where I've argued with people about he disappears towards the business end of the season. I've argued about many of our players not being world class. I've even said Saliba isn't world class. I'm changing my mind again now. But last season, when we were discussing the start of the season, at Sacho, I was saying Saliba isn't world class yet. I put Stones ahead of him just because Stones, what he did the 2-3 seasons before that, I thought it was enough to put him ahead. So I think you have to separate that there's a difference between the fan base that says we are the best in the world, or basically to do what 𝐒𝐤𝐞 did last year. Maybe he did it tongue in cheek. I don't know if he was serious about it. Versus fans who say,
okay, 𝐒𝐤𝐞 overdid it, right? 𝐒𝐤𝐞 overdid it. He said like 8 players from Arsenal would start for Real Madrid. Like, yes, okay, it's a banter, guys. It's a banter. It's a joke. But the reality is, Arsenal have good players. We all agree. You have very good players. Do you believe your manager is one of the best in the world now?
No.
I'd say top 10 for sure.
No.
I don't think so.
Top 5-ish?
Who would you swap Arteta for now?
Inzaghi. I told you before.
No, I
would take Inzaghi tomorrow if I had the chance.
Honestly, given the team we are, so wait, Mo, it depends what you're saying. If
I'm joking because there is one guy that always gonna jump in, and I know who, but anyway, you're gonna give me a surprise. But go ahead.
Look, it depends who you're. If you're saying who would we swap Arteta for, and let's say we have unlimited funds and all that stuff, then yeah, there's many managers I would name. But if you're saying we swap Arteta with someone and they have to take over the exact same team, then yeah, I can only think of 1 or 2, and I wouldn't swap him with anyone else. Pep and Klopp, because I think they can take this exact same team and play the exact brand of football we can play and go win things.
Brandon, did I make my point or no? Did I make my point?
No. But I'm saying with this exact same team, I don't think Ancelotti takes this team, for example, even though I think he's one of the greatest managers to ever live.
I'm going to tell you what the point. The point is, Brandon,
I don't get how that contradicts what I
said. Are people overdoing it with Arsenal? If we say all these players are great, if we say this, I wouldn't swap this manager for anyone else. That means you rate this team very, very high.
But is that Glazing?
Yeah, how
it's not. You are not Glazing. You're an Arsenal fan. You're not Glazing. You're an Arsenal fan. You can't glaze your own team.
But what's the issue then? Because we have one of the best.
I'm going to tell you the issue. The issue when people say, "Are we overpraising Arsenal?" Are Arsenal actually not as good as we think they are?
So I can prove that, Mo. Brandon, just a quick question, all of 3. I'll start with Brandon. Do you expect Arsenal to win the league this season? Or basically, like, do you think we should be winning the league this season?
Yes, 100%.
Perfect. Do you think we should be winning the league this season?
We must, yes.
Martin, do you think we should be winning the league this season?
I think we should be better than last season and take it to the last day.
Perfect, which means over 90 points.
Like, we have to win the league. I don't think that's a guarantee.
I completely agree with that. If we end with 95 points and lose the league by 1 point, that's different. Dio, I know you just joined. Quick question, just answer yes or no. Do you think we should be winning the league this season?
Yes, I think we should.
So, Mo, basically, all of us who think our team, I don't know what everyone's opinion is of the Arsenal team, but you're saying, are we overdoing it? Every one of us is expecting this team to go and win the league because we're saying our team is that good. Right? Or
are you? But you're asking the wrong question. Are you the best team in the league?
I don't think we are. But
are you equal to City? Are you equal to City?
No. I think City is slightly better than us, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that gets us. I think City were better than Liverpool, right? In those 2-3 seasons, Liverpool still won the league. You don't have to be the best every single time to win it, right? You just have to be the best over that season. But the biggest example is most people have Man City as favorites for the Champions League, even though Madrid won it last season.
Okay, so you guys don't think that people are overdoing it, praising Arsenal. If I say Arsenal are very good, that's not me overdoing it. That's not me overpraising Arsenal.
People overdoing it are rivals that go, "Oh my God, Arsenal, they're terrifying. Oh, I love all their play." Like, it's not us. That's not even Arsenal fans doing that. We're not even asking for that kind of.
I agree with that. Yes, yeah. Because yes, in a fan base you have a divided fan base. Some fans believe the manager and the players no matter what, and some people criticize them and every move they make. In a fan base, that's normal. But like Martin said, it's the rivals that glaze us too much to the point that they act like we've won the Champions League back to back and the league 4 times in a row. That's not the case, and that's also when people ask us, "Are you favorites to win the league?" I disagree because we haven't won it in 20 years, and until we get over that line, I cannot see us ever being favorites over Manchester City, who are winning trophies consistently. You know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
glazing comes from the rivals and not from the fan base, because every fan base has delusional fans. It's normal.
And can I say this more? If Arsenal are not as good as we know they are, why are people complaining? Why are they worried? Like, if we were not any good and we're not challenging for anything, we're not talking about Ipswich. Why? Because we know they're not challenging for the title. The reason people continually want to use the trophy as a benchmark to just kind of put us in a setup position is like, oh, well, let's glaze them on how good they are. Arsenal is a good team. It is a good team. Whether you accept it or not. If we're not a good team, teams like City, Liverpool, and the rest of them, when they come to playoffs, they should not be playing us the way they play us. They should come and just be like, look, you're a crap team, we can beat you. Most people know that's not true. So I think it's a case of rival fans want to say it's glazing because now they don't have anything to hold over our head when it comes to our football. Before, when we're terrible 4-5 seasons ago, they had something to hold over our head. They had a lot to say. They could banter us on the way we played. They could banter us on top 4 or top 4. Now it's a case of they're saying, oh, Arsenal might just go on and do it. So we need to say that, oh, they're overpraising them. Let's just say that they're glazing them. Like, it's to me, it's not a conversation really sometimes.
You know what's funny? I've seen our fan base, yes, sometimes go over the top, and I've laughed at them. I'm actually curious as to what you guys are talking about with rivals, because I've seen so many rival shows. I don't remember any rival fan glazing the living hell out of us. In fact, I'm looking at the comments and all the rivals are actually criticizing us and laughing at us. So this is why I'm confused. Like, what kind of rivals are you guys talking about that are going over the top? I'm so confused.
No, you're muted again. I don't know if
I think Mo, you're muted.
I muted my mic. I'm sorry, I muted my mic. Getting a new mic, and then I'm getting used to it. It's fine. Let me go to Brandon. On this. Tell me what you think, man.
I definitely think it's the rivals that are causing a lot of this. You know, you only have to look at Terry, for example, the way he titles his videos. Henry Wright, who's a Spurs fan, the way that he glazes Arsenal. I do think it's majority rivals, but also we have.
And I don't think they are glazing Arsenal.
Hang on.
Okay, hold on. No, hold on. Because now you say they're glazing Arsenal. I don't think they are. I actually think that they believe what they say. That is the thing.
There's believe in what they say.
If I sit and say Arsenal, Saka's great, if I believe it, that's not great. That's me believing something. I'm talking about football, bro. I'm talking about football here.
I totally agree. Like,
right? Like,
hang on. This is why I won't get on HUSAM's case, for example, right? Because people believe that HUSAM in particular is glazing Arsenal. I actually genuinely believe that HUSAM believes what he's saying, and he can put up an argument to say that he believes what he's saying, right? When I say about glazing, the problem is we have fans within the fan base who listen to what, I don't know, Terry says and the way that he says. It's not what he's saying; it's the way that he says certain things, and then they take it to a new level themselves. You know,
it's not his fault. I'm sorry, it's not his fault.
It's not. But
it's not my fault if I think Saka's good and some Arsenal fan take my word for it. Everyone has their own brain, bro.
Doesn't Terry have City as the favorites to win the league?
Yeah, he does. That's what he said. He does. But he just talked about how good Arsenal is, and all of a sudden, fans say because he's not an Arsenal fan, oh, he's glazing. Here's a problem with an Arsenal fan base as well. The Arsenal fan base, once a rival says how good we are, and which is genuinely true that we are that good. We may not have won anything yet, but as a team, we are solid enough right now. Once a fan talks about how good our game is, all of a sudden there's a bunch of Arsenal fans say, stop glazing us, because there's this whole banter thing where we feel like, oh, when they say how good we are, they're only saying it to bring us up so that in case we don't win the trophy, they can now say, look, I told you how terrible, like that's another issue. The fact that we cannot talk about isolated games, for example, at the weekend, we watch a game, Arsenal played very well. They came back from a 1-0 down or with 10 men to win a game. Let's just say something like that happened. The fact that rivals say, man, that was an amazing game, man. Talking about the football, talking about how Arsenal came back. All of a sudden, there's an Arsenal fan base section that says, oh, they're glazing us. We can talk about how good this team is, but we talk about how good Man City is.
I talk about how good Chelsea are.
We talk about how good Chelsea is as rival fans.
Me and you, Dayo, we say talk about Chelsea. Me and Dayo say, and Martin talk about, oh, Palmer is doing good. This guy's doing good. Maresca's doing it. Slot. Me and Martin speak about how good Slot, how good Gravenberch. The problem is some of the Arsenal fan base is that, and I'm going to tell you what the problem is, right? The problem is,
it depends on paper.
If you talk good about Arsenal, you're glazing. If you talk bad, you're only bantering. Okay, what about if it's my opinion? I'm just saying it because I'm on YouTube.
Because the default setting for Arsenal is laugh at them and abuse them. And if you're not doing either of those things, you're glazing. It's not even like you have to say nice things. It's just that you're not laughing at them that you're glazing. Like there's like a lot of Chelsea fans that really just want to laugh at Arsenal the entire time. So if there is someone who's being positive, they will make them feel bad about it.
Because I'm actually curious to hear Brandon's point. I'm actually curious to hear Brandon's point.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
I mean, it's not even that. I don't know how to explain it. You in particular, Mo, right? You don't glaze Arsenal. You just say what you think. But there are certain things that certain people do, like Terry, I've just made as an example, in the way that they title things, in the way that they say things.
But you aren't going to police what they title their videos. This is very strange.
Finish my point, bro. Yeah? In the way that they say things that makes it look like they're glazing Arsenal or they're doing the most for Arsenal when sometimes, for example, I don't know, when Chelsea have great performances or whatever, it's not said in the same way. Does that make sense? But I'm not even one of these, although I'm the opposite end of the spectrum to most of these guys on here. I'm not one of them fans who sits there and complains about people glazing Arsenal. I don't care, right? Because at the end of the day, the more people that speak about Arsenal being good clearly means that we're a good team, and we are a good team. The difference is we just need to get over the line now. We need to start winning trophies. Is Mikel Arteta a better manager than what I thought he was going to be? Yes, he is. But ultimately, trophies is what matters, and he has to win a trophy this season, regardless. But also at the same time, then you've got the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Whereas I'll sit here and say, Arsenal have to win a trophy this season. If he doesn't win a trophy this season, then we should think about moving on and trying to find somebody who can get us over the line. However, these guys here, if I ask every single one of them, if Arsenal don't win a trophy this season, would you sack Mikel Arteta? I guarantee you they'd say no. But my mate in the corner there just said, oh, well, we all expect Arsenal to win the league. Well, if you expect Arsenal to win the league and we don't do it, then surely there's got to be question marks over why.
There's also got to be context around
it.
This
is going now. Okay, hold on.
There's got to be context around it.
We're now changing the topic, which is I like it. Yeah. Everyone said their opinion about the glazing Arsenal titles and people.
Can I say something quickly? Let me say something quickly about the glazing. Just something about the glazing issue, real quick. I think that Arsenal fans, because we are attached to our club, and rival fans are also attached to their club, when we see headlines like Terry's headline, or we see a headline that
mine, I said Arsenal were amazing, great comeback.
Or Mo's headline, we are the ones who feel a certain way about it. When Mo does a Chelsea headline that says Chelsea are amazing, it doesn't kick us the same way because we don't.
Of course, because
Chelsea.
It's a different club.
But the Chelsea fans
I need people to understand
way.
this.
Do you understand?
That's what I mean.
That's the big difference. It's not like the content creator themselves are glazing. They're stating their opinion on the game and how they feel about it. But because we are fans, it's almost like if somebody slapped somebody in your family, you would feel a certain way. But if they slapped a stranger on the road, you'd be like, "Whoa, that guy just got hit." You never really.
I see your point.
You never really connect to it. So
I just want to make it clear. I just want to make it clear at the end before we move on that number one, anyone can say whatever they want. You can just choose to believe it or don't believe it. It's up to you, by the way. Anyone can say any opinion. I don't know. Someone left. I don't know.
Dio left.
Dio. My point about this is that as long as I believe what I say, who cares, bro? If I say tomorrow Thomas Frank is one of the best managers in the league and I can back it with an argument, who are anyone to tell me what to say? I can say whatever. If I say Inzaghi is the best coach in the world, if I say Inzaghi is the best coach in the world, if I can back it with an argument, it's either you debate my argument and prove me wrong, or just accept it that I believe. I'm deluded. I believe what I want to say.
I'll just say that I can understand why like Man United fans might look at the Arsenal team and go like, holy crap, they're good, because they're living with pure depression the whole time. Even a Spurs fan, you're like, wow, they're actually really good at football. I haven't seen good football like this. And it may sound like ridiculous, but to them, they're like starving in a desert, and we're like an oasis of, sunshine and rainbows. So,
and you don't back big anymore.
I've had Inter fans praise Allegri, that coached Juventus, for winning all these league titles. They hate it. They don't like it. But they can't just sit and lie and say they're shit because they were winning league title after league title, reaching a Champions League final. I'm not going to sit here and just deny it for no reason. It's the reality. Let me do this super chat because we move on to Arteta, because I actually am going to show you guys, everyone, there's 500 people here. Hit that like button. This Arsenal glazing thing. The title, I just wrote it on purpose, to be honest. But we're talking about the rest, the team, Arteta, and everything. Let me read the super chats, and I want to appreciate everyone that said their opinions. We're going to debate them. We're going to discuss them. Gunnar King is saying, what do you think of Tottenham? I know the Arsenal fans again.
Shit.
I don't even think of Tottenham.
Yes. I like what Martin said here. I like what Martin. Big up, my man. Big up, my man, Gunnar King, of course. Yes, I watched that horrible City glazing. Mo, you never called out the panel when they said City were relevant before the City takeover. Nilut Pal, they raised the fact about the history and they presented evidence and they presented history that City were a club. And that was a City stream. I'm not going to say, I make this stream for Arsenal people to have their say. I'm blessed to have a good platform to provide people a platform to talk. And I'm blessed to have these guys joining my stream. And I was blessed to have the Man City fans joining my stream. It's there for them to present their opinion. It's very simple. JJ, big up Habibi. You can never overpraise Arsenal. Big up Mo, TKA, Martin, Brandon, and my namesake, Ashraf, of course. His name is Ashraf as well. Bring on the glaze. Come on, you Gunners. It's our season. And smash the likes, people. Guys, let's get to 300 likes. Hit the like button underneath the live chat. Mo, you never stopped them when they said City were better than Arsenal. They never said that. And Liverpool before the takeover. How can you allow them to say it? They didn't say that. They said there were years when they were better than Arsenal and Liverpool. That's what they said. That's what they said. So
in the 1930s or something.
Yeah.
No, in the 70s they said something
60s,
like that.
60s.
Oh, fair.
Yes.
70s.
But that's what he said. So Nilut Pal, I can't stop them when they're saying facts. Hybrid Ultra, Mo, your point is invalidated, Mo, because for as many Arsenal fans that say that, there is equal amount of rivals, people like Brandon who say the opposite. No, I believe more people than not think that Arsenal are actually good. I believe Chelsea fans, in their heart of hearts, they think Arsenal are good. They believe Arsenal have a chance of winning the league.
Brandon thinks we're good. Like the people that were on the extreme of like Arteta is crap and we're never going anywhere have.
He still believes the team is good, by the way.
What's that?
Yeah,
They still believe the team is good.
listen, this Arsenal team is quality. This Arsenal team has a very good chance of winning the league this season. This Arsenal team should now be winning trophies. There's no doubt about that. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But you know, I've got to admit, Mo, right? When you invited me onto the stream and it said Arsenal Glazing, I was a little confused, right? I just want to put it out there that whatever point I was trying to make at the beginning, this is no offense to Terry or anybody else who makes Arsenal videos, right? Every single
I make a lot of videos.
Every single content creator should have or be entitled to say whatever they think. Whether people think it's glazing or not glazing, at the end of the day, people are here to make content for people to enjoy, right? I'd rather people be speaking positively about Arsenal because that actually means that we are a good side. And yeah, maybe sometimes it is overdone because Arsenal haven't actually won anything yet. But at the same time, I think we are close to getting to that point, whether it be with Mikel Arteta or whether it be with another manager. I think we're very, very close. And people should talk about Arsenal being a good side because we are a good side. So,
yeah, 100%. Nilo Pal, if City are glazing League Cup wins before the takeover, then Villa, Nottingham Forest, Spurs, one more, and we're better, right? Yeah, that's true. That's true. And no one denied that, Nilo Pal. No one did. Like, no one did deny this, that Aston Villa won European Cups and Forest did. So no one did. Leicester City, Birmingham City also won 2 League Cups. So what? City were irrelevant club before, now they are irrelevant. What's that do different to understand?
I think you're one stream too late.
It's so
To
difficult.
send these.
Big up Nilo
The
Pal.
Nilo
He's
Pal,
on their
big
neck,
up.
man. He's not like
He's on City's case, bro. He's like, I'm not gonna let things go. Dal Square said Henry and Terry are 2 examples. There's no way to get more praise from rivals than hate. So Mo, he's made up Arsenal glazing for content, which is fine. That's the point. By the way, I made the title on purpose. Right? I made the title on purpose. Do you think I'm stupid? I made the title on purpose. So yes, Dal Square. That was
but
on
you've got to
purpose.
give people actual glazing, or they're going to be disappointed. You've got to say something really nice about us.
There is no way we're praised more than we're hated. Absolutely. Let me just, guys, everyone in the chat, let me show you a video that I stumbled on. I hope that it doesn't. Actually, I need to check if it's copyrighted or not. So I need to check that. So we'll talk about the Arteta situation. Should Arteta be held to a higher place than what he actually is, since he hasn't won? That is the whole point. Did Arteta actually take Arsenal from the gutters all the way to being a team that is competing for the Champions League and the league? I believe so. You're shaking your head, TK. I'm actually going to go to Souls first about this. Has Arteta done a magnificent job at Arsenal, taking them from the gutters, the 8th, 7th, and the shit team, to actually a team that can compete? Is that due to his work?
I mean, look, the credit goes to like the entire board and Arteta himself, because they all had to work collectively to get the players in to actually move the goalposts back to us becoming a competitive side. Now, whether I say it's a magnificent job, yes, in the grand scheme of a rebuild and actually bringing the expectations back to where they need to be, yes, he's done a magnificent job. But to actually say and to concrete and solidify that, it'd have to be a delivery of that league title or a Champions League or, you know, multiple cups before we can sit there and go, yes, and now it's bona fide, unarguable, undebatable that he's done a magnificent job. Now, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Now, you can look at the achievement side of things and whether he can actually deliver that league title and etc. But if I'm looking at it as an isolation of, are we back to where we need to be 100%? You know, we've got that belief, we've got that sense of community, that togetherness, and every single season, we're actually good now. At the end of like the last 2 seasons, we're actually gutted that we didn't win the league. That hasn't been the case for the past 2 decades. We haven't been in the conversation to win a league, other than maybe that Leicester year. We haven't even touched or even come close to us sniffing that league title. You know, we're not going into the season with the expectations of winning. Now, the expectations completely flipped 180 and gone back to the early 2000s, back to the early, 1900s, where we were competing for things. We were, in the conversations of bringing in, FA Cups, Carabao Cups, the league title. And obviously, we're yet to do it. But back into those conversations where actually there is a hope we can win the Champions League. Now, whether we go and do it and whether we can actually go further into it, that's going to be a question to be asked. But I actually believe we can. I actually believe this crop of players with this manager can deliver the Champions League if they put their minds to it and they're not afraid of the competition as a whole. And they do what Man City did and overcome whatever barrier, whatever fear, or whatever thing that was holding them back, because they have the capabilities of becoming some of the greats of their generation. Now, whether they achieve that is on the coaching staff, which I feel like Arteta's done a magnificent job of building a backroom staff that's catered towards modern day players, from sports psychologists to tacticians to set piece coaches to throwing coaches to innovating our physios. The amount of turnovers that we've had in the medical staff, he's identified multiple areas of improvement to improve those fine margins. If I'm going and holding him to his words that he came in and said, I am going to transform this club, he has. Now, that comes from a perspective of me being in a corporate management position as well, of building high successful teams and high turnover teams as well, where we're literally, the focus is to become a successful team. And I've learned a lot, and that's kind of catered me to thinking differently about Arsenal and about different things in football. Now, when I'm looking at like a situation, let's say if we've got a big problem here, the culture sucks, you know, we aren't where we want to be, you know, let's say we're £1 billion company, but we're only turning over millions a year. Like, what's happened? Where did that go wrong? That's a culture shift that you need to do. And in my opinion, Arteta's come in and transformed every single thing to win, win, win. Now it's about delivering that win and that title, and he's getting closer than ever. And the players believe in him. Every single player, from William Saliba down to the Sakas to the Odegaards, you know, the contract extensions, the players that we're bringing in, and the fact that we can convince them now to actually come and see the vision. It's no longer just Arteta with his silver tongue or golden tongue saying to these players. He's now proving that every single season, getting a step closer to winning that league title. So for me, I don't know if I want to use the word magnificent, but let's talk about the build. I think is magnificent and where he brought us. But if I'm talking about him overall as like a manager achievement, I would say he's done a good job. And that's kind of how I would like to capitalize.
Let me show you the video. The video that I stumbled upon is a very short video. Watch, listen to this, people.
No, like, it is louder. People may bristle at this, but I do feel a bit like Arsene Wenger built the Emirates Stadium. And it feels like Mikel Arteta turned the lights on, you know? It feels like his team and the connection that exists with these fans right now is what makes the stadium alive.
Wow. Home.
That's
home.
Yes, exactly that.
You know what the problem with these things are?
You can't disagree, though.
It's so cringy, but the problem is, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Cringy, though. Why is it?
Yeah, the problem is, I agree with this, right? I agree with what happened here. But to keep a manager because he revived the fans and got the fans together is not enough. And the problem is, guys, and that's why rivals banter, right? Is that because some Arsenal fans have what is said in this video as the reason why we should keep Arteta even if he doesn't win the league or the Champions League.
That's different though. Yeah, I think that's an
because, by the way, this is called an Arsenal cast, right? It's a channel. It's on YouTube, right? I never watched them before ever in my life. I stumbled upon this short, and I'm like, the problem with these things is that Arsenal fans are very emotional fan base. Because it has been a 20-year period without winning the Premier League. And you haven't won the Champions League before, right? So playing on the emotions, saying stuff like that, get the fans behind the manager and the board even more. So it becomes an emotional attachment instead of thinking about it from the logical point of view. You guys might be logical, but the majority of Arsenal fans think that Arteta, oh my God, he's done this amazing. And because he's a very good public speaker, and we all know this, he gets everyone behind him. I listened to his speech at the stadium after the season when he said, we'll think, we'll do this. The problem is that gets the fan behind them and removes the objectivity from them, the thinking.
I
actually think that's completely false. We're supposed to be passionate about our team and emotional. Look, I listened to that podcast and he doesn't have the emotional music when he's saying it. It's not like this. He's just like talking on a podcast, right? So someone's made that TikTok.
Of course, the music added. They added this music to have an emotional thing to it.
But it's a fact. Anyone that's an Arsenal fan knows the fact that the Emirates felt like a plastic, empty void compared to Highbury since we built it. And a lot of people still talk about it every day. Like, oh, we built this stadium to compete with Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and blah, blah, blah. And it was a chain around our necks. But he's turned it into a strength for the club. And why I'll say that Arteta is different is because he's a brand new manager. He's so young. It's not like he's Ancelotti and he's learned everything that he's going to learn, and he's been here for 5 years and he's just done the best he can and he's reached his limit. We don't even know what his limit is. So as an ex-captain of the club that won trophies for us, I feel more attachment to him, and illogically so, than I would, some random manager that has no association with my club, like an Inzaghi that comes in and blah blah blah. You just deliver, and then we're all happy, right? But I feel like Arteta's earned the right to have more time. I don't think that everyone will agree with me, and it won't make any sense if someone goes, "Well, what trophy does he want?"
But you know what? To add to what you're saying,
so imagine Inzaghi comes for 1 year and wins us the Champions League. Is that 1 year better than the 5 years that we had with Arteta or not?
I don't think that they're not relative. Like, one is winning a trophy, one is building.
It's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question.
I'd say that both are just as impactful, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
because
you can't do one without the other.
Inzaghi cannot come in, take over from Wenger, and make that Wenger team a Champions League team.
Exactly.
But if he takes over this Arteta team, potentially, that's where you got to also. I'm not saying give credit to Arteta, but what I'm saying is what Arteta's done for the work he's had to do. For bearing in mind, this is his first time managing a club himself. He's doing a magnificent job. And also, I think what people are forgetting is we're not going backwards. We're getting closer to winning. If that belief of not winning kicks in, that's when we can sit there and go, do you know what? Now is time to get rid. Because sometimes the grass isn't always greener. Replacing a manager can actually hinder your progression than actually progress it.
So the thing is,
the problem. I want to hear Brandon's take on this. The problem with what you said, 𝐒𝐲 is that Martin is gonna hate this. It brings me back to the point. What is the threshold? I'm not going there yet. But that what you just said, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Is that getting closer at some point? That's to stop.
Yeah, but this is the point. This is the point where I get to, right? I actually agree with the majority of what 𝐒𝐲 said about Mikel Arteta doing a very good job or magnificent job. I think the magnificent part of Mikel Arteta's job is the culture that he's built around the club, right? I think that's the part which has taken Arsenal back to competing again consistently, right? We have a culture around that football club now where it doesn't matter who you are, what player comes in or whatever. There are certain requirements that you have to meet, right? And Mikel Arteta is the one that implemented all of that. This is why I disagree with a lot of Arsenal fans who say, if he doesn't win the league or if he doesn't win any trophies this season, then we'll just keep him and give him more time, right? I don't think that if you replaced Mikel Arteta with an Inzaghi, for example, I don't think that you'd see any sort of backward step because the culture is what is making this football club or progressing the football club to where it is now.
But Brandon, that's completely false though, because if a manager doesn't fit that culture, you do get a backward step.
But this is also where then it becomes a Kroenke and the board type thing, right? Because if it does end up being a situation where, you know, Mikel Arteta is just not good enough as a manager to get Arsenal over the line, then you have to bring in the right man who's going to not just take us over the line like an Antonio Conte who's going to want to play a completely different brand of football and all the rest of it. You're going to have to find the guy who can win, but also fits what Mikel Arteta has built, right? So from that...
I feel like there's a couple of things there before we move away from it. One, Inzaghi doesn't speak a word of English. Like, famously, not a single word of English. We know that there's communication issues that happen at Emery.
But that's why Martin, he said not Inzaghi. That's why he said someone else.
We can name a random manager we think might come in. Like, it used to be everyone would say Simeone. Now it's turned to Inzaghi. I hear that all the time. But I wanted to nip that in the bud because he's never going to come to Arsenal and not speak a word of English.
Martin, I'm just using Inzaghi as an example because he's a manager.
You can't use a man that can't come as an example, is my point. Like, pick someone who is actually going to improve. You said fix. I don't know what the fixing is because
I didn't say fix.
I don't think there's anything broken.
I said it's up to the board to bring in a manager that fits the culture that Mikel Arteta has built around the team, right? I don't think it's if, for example, if Mikel Arteta decided tomorrow that he was leaving and we had to bring in another manager, all of a sudden everything all falls down and it all needs to be ripped up and started again. Because he's built something there, which I agree with 𝐒𝐲, which has been the magnificent part of his job, to where Arsenal are now competing consistently. It's not just like we had a one-off, title run and then we're back down to the top four. We're consistently competing now, right? The good part of Mikel Arteta's reign as Arsenal manager is what he's done on the pitch in the terms of he's got us competing. Now, that turns to magnificent or great if he starts winning those trophies. but he has to. At the end of the day, the aim of football or the aim of the game is to win trophies, and you know, there's different spectrums of the argument with that as well, because also you can look down, you know, at Manchester and you can see the fact that Erik ten Hag has won 2 trophies, but you can also see how much of an absolute mess Manchester United are in. So, I mean, I hope Mikel Arteta.
So what are you doing then? Are you getting rid of Ten Hag then? Because by your definition, he is winning.
No, because look, you have to sit there and say credit to Ten Hag for winning 2 trophies. However, it's an unsustainable way.
But this is where I can not.
No, but wait. One sec. Sorry, I just want to check. Just quick, ask Brandon a question on that. Why is it not sustainable? He can win the FA Cup every season. He's in it still. Why is it unsustainable?
Because if you look at the results and the teams that he had to play to get to them finals, aside from Liverpool and aside from Manchester City, right? They scraped by Coventry. They scraped by Notts County, I think it was, right?
But at the end of the day, what does a record?
Yeah, but exactly. But they still won it, and they still went through 2 of the biggest teams in the country.
Correct.
How do you know they will not go through the same thing this season?
I'd be very.
But is that enough?
I'd be very, very surprised.
No. I agree with you, T. It's not enough. But I'm saying this is why I don't think that argument.
I don't like the idea
it's
of
all about trophies.
It's all about trophies. And
it's
that's
all exactly because by that logic, if we
why is Ten Hag not getting sacked, or why are you sacking Ten Hag for winning trophies?
And here's the biggest evidence, right? We won the FA Cup in 2014. We won the FA Cup in 2015. We won the FA Cup in 2017. And in that period, every one of us who looks back at it, okay, most people will say we failed because we didn't win the league. We finished outside the top 4. Winning the cups wasn't good enough, right, at that time to keep Wenger.
So I just wanted to pick up on the point that you just made. It's not all about winning trophies, but there is a certain point in time where you have to start expecting trophies. At the end of the day, this isn't Mikel Arteta's first year. This is his 5th year. He's spent a lot of money. He's got us to a point now where we're competing. And I'm not even... Do you know my thing is with Arsenal this season, right? I'm not even sitting there saying Arsenal have to win the league. Arsenal have to win the Champions League. I just want him to win a fucking trophy. That's it. FA Cup, League Cup, whatever. Right? As long as we're still competing, I don't care. As long as we need to win something this season, please. Please, yeah? We've got to win.
Can I just tell it?
I actually disagree with all of this, by the way. I think a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup is not enough to actually keep Arteta's job at all. By the way.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there is context to it. If he reaches the Champions League final, you know, like Inzaghi at Inter, if he reaches the Champions League final, for example, no matter what the draw is, by the way, and maybe he loses the league by a point or something very small. But if he wins the freaking cup and he finished context.
There's a word for what you just said, not even context. It's literally progress. As long as we're progressing season on season, that is what I would judge the manager on. Which is why I'll give you guys an example. As you said, Mo, let's say we reach, forget the finals, right? Let's say we reach the Champions League semi-finals, right? Or even quarterfinals. And let's say we finish the league with 96 points, but we lose it with 1 point behind City, who finished with 97. I'm not going to say sack the manager. Because in the league, that's massive progression. Champions League, pretty much same thing. Let's say if it's a quarterfinals, for example. I cannot say sack the manager then, because then I have to then understand we did make progression. We're eventually getting there. I know we're getting there like a freaking snail, but we are getting there. And we've had a massive team beat us by 1 point if it finishes 97, 96. Because I've said this on Sacho before we were arguing this, and I'll say it again. I don't want to rile up Chelsea fans or anyone, but I don't want that temporary success of Chelsea or whatever. I want a Man United type of success in the 90s or 2000s. I want
a Man that wouldn't
City.
Happen, but
yeah, I want a Man. No, but you never know, right? I want that kind of Man City dominance over the last 10 years.
Is that guy to achieve that or not?
If he keeps progressing, I think, yeah, of course. Why not?
So you think Arteta can dominate the league for 10 plus years?
When I say dominate, I mean like every season he's challenging. Every season. I think he can be that guy, yeah.
No, but that's not the same success as Man United because they won.
Yeah, I understand. But United, whenever they didn't win, they challenged. So, for example, 2010 they lost the league by 1 point. They challenged. 2012 they lost to City. They lost it by like a goal difference, and then the next season they won it by 10 points. So my point is, if we are not winning the league, you better be in the race. But why I'm saying this is because when you're challenging every season, let's say in the next 10 seasons, if you challenge every single season, you're probably going to win at least 4 leagues, right? I think that's a lot more sustainable than us winning, for example, spending so much money, getting a project that wins 3-4 trophies, for example, and then collapses for the next 10 years. That's exactly what we're not doing right now, which is why I'm saying I would judge him on progress. The moment he stagnates or regresses in a season, right, I would immediately sack him. Like, don't even wait. You get what I mean?
Unless you mentioned Chelsea, Lewis popped up. You mentioned Chelsea, Lewis popped up. Somehow you mentioned Chelsea, he popped up.
Yeah, but
I think that there's a little bit of like a false equivalence that goes on, and then there's just people that want to minimize what we've done. And if you want to say that Arteta's done nothing, you can just say he hasn't won the league or the Premier League. He's not the guy to take Arsenal over the line. Second means nothing, right? But you can't prove any of those things. And I think it'd be really it would be detrimental to what he has built to take him out of what that position is. The man that's just built this machine, and think that you can just pop someone else in there and they're going to beat Pep with the best Man City or the best Premier League side we've seen in the history of the Premier League. Like, there's just no real evidence to think that that's a good idea. I don't think.
Okay, just to confirm, Martin, like what your threshold is. So at what point would you say it's time to move on past Arteta, though?
I didn't ask this. It was an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, just so I'm on, because I don't know what my criteria.
By the way, Brandon's phone keeps getting darker and darker and darker.
When I noticed this. I noticed this when most of the video when most of the video about Arteta switched on the light. That's when I felt like Brandon switched off the light. It's like I'm doing whatever I'm doing the opposite of whatever Arteta does.
And we go back to the question that Ashraf asked.
So everyone else has a different length of rope for this question, and I've made an agreement with, I think, TK and V in the chat, that if we don't talk about Arteta getting sacked every day, then I'm happy to say sack him at the end of the season if he doesn't win a trophy. But unfortunately, literally every day we have to talk about, when does Arteta get sacked? When is he going to go? Why won't you say now that he should be sacked at the end of the season? Like, there's a lot of pressure on anyone who's an Arsenal face on YouTube to say, yes, he must be sacked if we don't win trophies.
I explained to you why. I explained to you why many times. I'm going to say it again. The longest serving manager in a top club out of the top 5, the people that win trophy without a Premier League or the Champions League. Arsenal are the longest club of the top 5 without a Premier League.
Because everyone sacks their managers after like a year. They're not getting anywhere near where we are.
We're not talking about a year. We're talking about 5 years. We're talking about 5 years. We're not talking about 1 year.
2 of those 5 years being in a pandemic when he spent 80 million and we had the crappiest team we've ever seen. Like, I don't think there's any context put in that question. And
Thomas Tuchel walked in at disjointed Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel walked in at disjointed Chelsea team and won the Champions League.
I don't think anyone.
No excuses, my friend.
Where's he now then? Where's he now?
Yeah, they were a better team, though. Come on.
Who can? No, but it doesn't. That's not the point. Yes, I get it. Where is Chelsea now?
Where's Chelsea now?
Would you not have swapped the 4 years of Arteta with 1 Champions League?
That's because you haven't won it, but that's irrelevant. Though. But where is he now?
Yeah,
Where's our success now?
It doesn't matter. But would you not again? Would you have rather someone? Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase this question.
So great. If
I can phrase the question better. I can phrase the question better. Would you have rather, instead of this journey with Arteta, had Thomas Tuchel walk in after Emery and win you the Champions League that year?
So you're
go through the same. But go through the same thing they went through. Go through the same thing they went through last 5 years,
and be where Chelsea are now.
No, I wouldn't. I would rather have Arsenal.
Can I just hear the answer to this from everyone? I'm gonna put a scenario out there. I'm gonna put a scenario. Emery sacked. You got a Thomas Tuchel. He won you the Champions League. You went through the gutters, and then you are where Chelsea are now. But you have a Champions League in the last 5 years. Would you have rather switch that? You don't want.
I wouldn't swap. Yeah, and I can explain. It's very logical for me, right? It's very logical for me. I'll tell you why. Last season, season, who won a trophy last season in England from like Arsenal and United? United, right? How come our fan base was the one enjoying the season for 95% and happy at the end of the season? And how come they were the ones who were super upset and pissed off? I want us to win the Champions League, but not if it means for 5-6 years we're
My
a
man,
crap
the
show
Champions
and we're
League is
depressed.
different.
And this
This
right
is
here,
not
Mo,
the cup. This is not the
right
cup.
here,
Okay,
No,
hold
I
on.
think
is
we
the
can win the
problem
Champions League.
Ashraf,
of
this
our
is so
club and our fan
disingenuous,
base.
Ashraf. Sorry. This is so disingenuous to compare a Champions League trophy to an FA Cup. It is
Exactly.
so disingenuous.
No, but I'm
There
also
is no
comparing
difference.
5
No,
years of
listen,
gutter
listen.
to 1
Ashraf,
year.
listen.
No,
There is no difference.
Say that
One trophy.
with disrespect to the FA Cup, it's not even, bro, remotely close to a Champions League trophy. What are we talking about here?
You know, it's the funny thing
there
is
is no difference.
ahead,
Let me
T.
finish. There is
Go
no
ahead, T.
difference because there would still be one trophy in these 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But one is an FA Cup and the other one is a Champions League. I feel like it's this, Mo. This is right here the problem that we've have in our club and in our fan base is people accept failure. People accept mediocrity. Comparing an FA Cup to a Champions League is crazy. We've never won the Champions League. We didn't even win the Champions League with our best ever side with Thierry Henry and everyone. You know what I'm saying? And now, if someone like Thomas Tuchel come to these clubs and win us our first and only Champions League, and you would not have that instead of this 5 years of
No.
No.
So let me answer.
I think it's a crazy. I'm with TK. I think it's a crazy argument.
It's not crazy. It's not even wild. I don't know why you guys are thinking it's a wild take because you're not even listen to the reasons why we're saying we wouldn't swap it. Now,
because we are no different than Pochettino's Spurs.
Okay, finish and then you'll understand.
We are no different.
Trust me, you'll understand. Right? What I'm saying is, for me, and looking at what we're building and where we're going, we'll win a Champions League very soon.
Exactly.
So
that's the point.
I don't care.
Who
I don't
says
want
that,
to
bro?
win it. I will
But
win
they
it with
have
the
belief
comfort.
that we will. And
I
guess
have belief that we will. That's the point.
Because
actually, no, listen. If
we'll
we
win it.
actually wanted that, we wouldn't have made 10 million profit this year instead of going out and buying players that we actually need to get over the line. That is a fact.
Why?
What do you mean?
We made listen. We made listen. We made 10 million profit when we could have gone out there and bought someone like Gyökeres, bought someone like
But what if that's not what the manager needs?
bought someone like
what if the manager
Yes, we
doesn't
don't
think
want
he's
that.
good enough, T?
Yeah, what if we
I
don't want it?
agree with you. I wanted a striker, but what if because we did
Okay, so
we
you're
didn't get
telling me,
Gyökeres,
so you're
but we
telling
got
me that
Calafiori,
Gyökeres,
we got
so you're telling me
Moreno.
that Gyökeres is not enough for this club to get over the line?
That doesn't matter.
Do we really
That
think?
doesn't matter.
I think we
need
can get
to
over the
trust-
line
okay,
without
listen.
him.
Can I finish my point? Do I
Yeah, go
really
ahead.
need to trust a manager who trusts Kai Havertz over someone like Victor Gyökeres, who scored 40 plus goals last year
That's your
and is
opinion.
going to score 40 plus goals this year again?
That's your opinion.
Come on, bro.
That's
Let's be
your
real.
opinion.
If
Okay. Let me give
Yeah,
you
bro.
one stat, right, T.
I listen to the delusion, but I cannot listen to it anymore.
No,
bro.
1 second. We were 5 goals less, right, than a guy that had a goal scoring machine in their team. So explain that. Only 5
We
goals.
also broke our record last 2 seasons in attack. So is our attack crap?
Congratulations.
All of a sudden,
where is the trophy? Where is the
Yeah,
trophy?
so how
That's
can you tell
calling.
you wait, Souls. Okay, fine.
Okay,
Let's
we've beaten the goal scoring record. Yes.
No.
come on,
Don't do this. I'm gonna answer a bunch of points because first of all, T and other Arsenal fans who are saying this stuff, right, are the exact same people who, if we swapped Tuchel and won the Champions League in 2020 or 2021, would have been crying and cursing him out if we finished 12th last season, right? That's one. Secondly, I never said anything about Gyökeres winning the title or not winning the title. I'm saying we already had such an incredible attack last season that was the 3rd highest in goals scored in the top 5 leagues, and we didn't win. So what guarantee do you have that Gyökeres would come in? Because you're making it seem like if Gyökeres comes in, that's it. Champions League, Premier League is ours.
The volume was never the problem.
What was the problem?
At it against trash sides, against the Burnleys of the world, against trash sides who cannot defend for their life. You know what I'm saying?
So did City.
Our problem was clutch goals. Okay? Clutch moments. I even said, I was at HUSAM stream at the halftime show.
Which by the way, Havertz has won as many games with clutch goals.
No, wait, one second. Let him. He's actually getting to the trap.
The
Go ahead.
best team that did that against was Brighton last year. So that's it. You know what I'm saying? But apart from that, clutch goals is what we needed and we didn't get. This season, when we almost drew against Southampton, we needed someone to save us to basically make a mistake and score an own goal. We drew against Southampton. That never should have happened in the first place. We never should have been 2-2, and we should have had a clutch. Okay, no. Listen to me, bro. Do not interrupt me and
go ahead.
you know what I'm saying, scramble my brain.
Okay.
Last season, Aston Villa, we needed a clutch striker, we didn't get it. Fulham, twice, we needed clutch, we didn't get it. There is enough sample sizes that this team needs a clutch striker. Okay, the volume was never the issue because we have goals from every side, but we don't have a clutch striker or a clutch player who can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and finish off the job, because we failed many times in last year to win these kinds of games. And this year, I was afraid that we were going to draw against Southampton of all teams. You know what I'm saying? Just because we didn't look like scoring. We had the ball for 24/7, but no dangerous chance, no significant chance whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? We needed Trossard again, a 25 million player that a lot of fans slate to this day to save us from from a team that we shouldn't have been struggling in the first place. Yet we praise Havertz, and someone like Trossard gets shit on, and he needs to be benched straight away when someone like Martinelli comes back, for example. It's bullshit, bro. This team,
I think you guys are getting lost in the
has
details.
too many favorites. No. This club has too many favorites.
You guys have been talking
because
for
we
too
have
long.
too many favorites,
interrupt.
we've been failing for the last 20 years, bro.
No, you guys aren't getting anywhere. Yeah, I agree. We should have signed a striker. I would take the Champions League over. You know, there's whole like nuances to the situation. But what fundamentally Ash is saying is we've built a team to compete every year in every competition. It's a very mature team. It's not a flash in the pan. You might win one big cup and then do nothing for 10 years and be 12th every season. Like there's nuances to that debate where are you building something for the future that's going to sustain itself and be there at the top for a long time? Or are you building something that might just work for a season and then goes back to absolute crap for a long time? So I think Man United are in that.
But where's
I'm gonna get Martin, please, and then I'm gonna get Martin, and then I'm gonna get Brandon. So because I want everyone to speak. Go ahead.
I think
Martin.
fundamentally T is right. We should have bought 𝐒𝐿𝐶, but we don't know that's a mistake until the end of the season. We may do better without him. I don't know. But like I wanted that striker. I think everyone wanted us to spend big money. It's like waiting for us to like finally buy a huge striker since Aubameyang. I think it's probably about 7 or 8 years now. So I don't think a lot of people rate Havertz the way that they should, and they're not going to see this as a realistic debate. I don't think we can really get into that transfer thing. It's not really like going to solve any problems for us at this point because the transfer window is closed. Maybe we'll do something in January that'll like give us a boost. But yeah, we've built a team that can survive through pretty strong injuries. We've had pretty much the hardest run, and I think the team, like, I can't ask for much more than it right now. Maybe people can. People want success right now, but I think that it's coming.
Brandon.
Well, yeah, again, Martin, I agree with what you just said about are we building something that's just going to last the season, or are we building something that's going to, mean that we consistently compete? But this is also where I have the argument with you about, is Mikel Arteta as important cog or piece in this puzzle as what everybody is saying that he is? I don't think he is. I think he's done the work off the pitch. This is what I'm saying. I think what he has done off the pitch is fantastic, brilliant. He's built the culture that Arsenal need to sustain being a top team competing year in, year out. Is he the guy that's going to take us to winning trophies? It remains to be seen. But I don't believe that if the decision has to be made and we have to bring in a different manager who can guarantee success, who has, the CV to guarantee Arsenal trophies, etc., I don't believe it all falls back down again. I'll give you a prime example, right? When you've got a great structure there, or, it doesn't even have to be a great structure, or a great owner, right? Chelsea in particular had a fantastic owner in Roman Abramovich, right? They consistently sacked managers and consistently won year in, year out, trophies consistently. There was one of the most successful teams in England over a 10-year period by sacking managers, but they had Roman Abramovich setting the standards. Arsenal don't have that in particularly with the Kroenkes, but we do now have a structure there that means that we can consistently compete. So I don't think Mikel Arteta is as important piece of the cog as what people think. And I think the reason why Arsenal fans in particular are very reserved about sitting there and saying if he doesn't win something, then sack him, is because they're so afraid of going backwards again. You know, and I don't think that will be the case. I genuinely don't.
Can I counter that? Just 2 points. One, I feel like he's proven that he's able to make signings that are like good value. So maybe like in the 20 to 40 million pound range, and make them into players that are perhaps double that. 2, tactically on the field, we've seen someone who's very capable of being flexible, adapting to his opposition, and taking us into an area which we're not used to as Arsenal fans, where we actually have some kind of like strength and power about us. We're not just like a weak team of attacking midfielders that want to play tiki-taka. We will win with set pieces. We will win with long throws. We'll win with defending like no one has ever seen this club defend before. Like that Man City game, that second half, I don't think any other Arsenal side gets anywhere near keeping them out until the last minute of that game. So I think there's a maturity that we can see.
Can you repeat that again? Can you repeat that again, what you just said?
I don't think we've seen another Arsenal side that would hold that Man City team out with 10 men. I haven't.
Do you know, I was watching the other day the highlights of Arsenal losing 5-0 to Manchester City in the beginning of Arteta's era, and how far have Arteta become? How far this Arsenal team now? Like, I was watching the highlights of that game. There was nowhere near how good this Arsenal team is. If you watch this, you will know how good of a job Arteta has done, actually. How the mentality of the players of this club have changed, actually. If the mentality of the players, their willingness to win, to be honest, the belief that we can win any game. I believe the difference is when Arsenal step on a pitch now, no matter who the opposition are, the players and the fans believe they can win the game, no matter who the opposition are. That by itself is a change of the culture. I believe Chelsea don't have this. Man United don't have this. I believe a handful of teams around in the world believe that. The Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, maybe Barcelona. That is the work of Mikel Arteta. So I have to give him credit to that. The problem is, Martin, which is I believe that he built everything with what you said. What you said is key. How many teams will play like this against Man City? How many teams will be able to hold that Man City? But at the end, are you happy with the journey, or do you want to finish the race? At the end, that is the whole point. Are you happy being Rory, for example, on the show earlier this week on Monday, said, I missed going every game to the stadium, enjoying the game. I missed that. And that by itself was a success. Some other fans don't see it this way. Some other fans at the end I want to win. I don't want to win games. I want to win the whole thing. You keep saying you're close, right? You keep saying you're close, right? There are no guarantees. When you were close last season, you were close the season before, you're close this season.
That's just a hyperbole. Like, we can always say that, like, if a new manager comes in, there might not be a chance. There might be a chance. There's always a might. Yeah. Nothing's a guaranteed in life.
It's a difference of opinion on the methodology.
Yeah. So,
right? unless we get Pep.
But you have to take when you hired Arteta, okay, Souls, but when you hired Arteta, it was a risk. This guy had no experience before Arsenal. It was a risk.
Because now we're at a stage, you know, but when we got Arteta, we were in the shitters of the shits, right?
That's
now
not true. That team won a trophy, bro. That's not true.
Arteta won that trophy by playing Vertible.
I'm not even going to respond with that because
even okay.
But anyways, what I'm saying is we were in the shitters of the shits, right? And what Arteta's now doing is season on season, we actually believe we can win. There's a difference. If I stop believing that, that's when I want to get rid of the manager. That's when I deem it's over, it's done. When I genuinely think the players don't believe in his vision, the players aren't listening to him, when the club are starting to now also pull back their money and actually not back him, that's when I'm starting to see the signs of a man that's not trusted. And that's the difference for me. But right now, the board have never spent like they have under any manager like they have under Arteta. Now, that could be just because of the 100% ownership that they've taken place, but we've not seen this level of backing and ambition where even the Cronkies are now flying to the UK to get deals done. We've not.
And to add to that, Souls, like you can even see it in the figures. Since Arteta's joined Arsenal, we're obviously in the top 5 spenders in England, naturally. We are 4th, but we have brought in the least number of players. Like City, we spent 30 million more than City in the same period, but we brought in 25 less players, which means we're clearly spending on quality, right? Which is why every transfer window we've had at least
every
two.
window
We've had two very, very good signings.
Arteta turns it around and goes, actually, yeah, he's making you eat your words. People didn't rate Havertz, and now like that opinion. I'm not saying people rate him, but that opinion has changed. Like he's not a flop, right?
Yeah.
But
people didn't rate Ben White. People didn't rate
anymore.
Ramsdale. People didn't rate Ryan. People didn't rate Gabriel when he came in. A lot of the players that he's brought in, I'd say about 90% of players that he's brought in weren't rated, and actually a lot of people criticized. And
Get a room.
Turned the perception around.
Hey, come on, HUSAM and I used to beef.
Get a room. Get a room. That's what I'm saying. Get a room. You're not saying.
No, but I don't want to hear.
Sorry,
this
apologies. Apologies, Souls. I apologize for this. Because these two guys are like falling in love with each other again after hating each other for months. So
that's how it goes.
We never hated each other.
Crazy,
I think it was you, Mo, that created the beef. But I don't want to hear this Arteta spent 800 million or whatever thing anymore. Every club has to spend to compete. And if when you look at the numbers, like Spurs have spent more in that time. They've just sacked 3 managers, so they just keep resetting the value. This Arteta, you've got to spend at least 700 million, I would say, to make a title challenging team. Maybe even $1 billion. Maybe it's 1.5 like Chelsea or whatever, right? I don't know what that value is, but it's definitely not like 200 million and then you're away. So I think he's done very well.
Can I do these couple of super chats? Can I do these couple of super chats? They're related.
I'm just saying, even if we spend 10 billion, who cares how much money it takes to get success? You've got to do what you got to do to succeed.
Yeah.
And if you're Inter, you can just get free transfers.
It's funny when people say this, but when people like me that say go spend the release clause for Gyökeres, people would say that's a lot of money. Why would we pay a lot of money? Then we are when we say those kinds of things, people turn into accountants.
Like, go get a
but now we don't care suddenly.
No. All I'm saying is it doesn't really matter how much you want to spend. That doesn't mean you go spend stupidly. That means you go spend what you need and what you want as well. But if that means, like, for example, I don't think Declan Rice is 105 million pounds. But if that's what you want and that's what you think is going to get us closer to that league title or actually win that league title, then go and spend 105 million. If you don't think Gyökeres is 80 million, who am I to argue? Because at the moment, Arteta's earned our trust enough to say, do you know what? He knows what he's doing in the window, or Edu, or whoever it is that's doing it. So that's the point I'm making.
That's the notion. Arteta earned our trust.
He has to.
Because every single signing was a success.
Okay, so do you
can I ask you something? Can I ask you a question? Do you think Arteta?
Do you trust Pep?
Yes, of course, but Pep won.
But he's had a lot of flops as well. He's had many flops.
But hold on, Pep didn't have as much flops as Arteta. Let me ask you something.
Okay,
do you think Arteta got more signings right than wrong, or the other way around?
He's had more right than wrong, yeah.
For me, it depends on the value. For me, if you're looking at 30 million plus for the big signings, I think he's got more right. If you're looking at everyone, including the free transfers,
do you guys believe Jesus is the right signing for the money you spent?
At the time, yes.
That season, yes, 100%. That season, he was a good signing.
And Zinchenko as well. And Zinchenko as well.
That season. Yeah.
They got us to this level.
Where we need to be, yes.
Yeah.
But Fabio Vieira as well.
No,
that was a risk, but that's one.
Mo, all I can say
I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, right? Maybe I'm wrong.
Mo, what you're saying is correct because we've had more failures than we've had successful players. If I get the list right now, the times when we finished 8th twice, Arteta bought a lot of players as well. Let's not forget about those players.
Because Arteta wasn't here.
Arteta was not here for 2 years. Arteta is here for 5 years. He has been buying players for a long time, and a lot of them failed. Lokonga,
a lot of the failures were free transfers.
Let me not name these kinds of players.
Fifth, actually. The 8th was a Thomas Partey and Gabriel Magalhaes signing. That was that window. So I don't really know where this multiple signings to finish 8th came from. The season that he signed a lot of those players, we finished 5th. And then the season after, when we got Gabriel, Jesus, and Zinni, we competed. And then obviously
that's why I'm saying, guys, you need to look at value. For example, 2020-21, I'm looking at the list right here. I'm looking at only players that we signed. I'm not even forget 30. I'll go 20. In fact, right? The players we signed over 20 million: Gabriel Magalhaes and Thomas Partey. Obviously, both have been a good hit. 21-22 players that we signed above 20 million. Aaron Ramsdale was okay for a couple of seasons. Odegaard, amazing signing. And Ben White, amazing signing, right? 2022-23 players we signed over 20 million. We signed Trossard, very good signing. Vieira, flop. Zinchenko, that season was good, and Gabriel Jesus, that season was good.
Brandon is back. He's
And
back.
then
Let me do.
Sorry, I'm just almost done. Last season, players over 20 million. Timber, this season he's looking good. Obviously, we still have to wait and see. Kai Havertz, as much as I don't rate him, good. Declan Rice, this season good. And this season, Calafiore and Moreno, yet to see, but I think both of them will come good. So he's only had one signing that's above 20 million.
He's had one bad signing. That's what
above
saying.
20 million.
No,
above
no.
20 million.
You're
Listen
doing
to the phrase,
this thing,
above 20 million.
Above 20 million, bro. That's still not true because we had.
And I'm gonna move on from this because if people believe more Arsenal fans are a bunch of failures, bro, because that was around the Champions League and the 5 years thing.
All right, cool.
All right, JJ.
JJ, big up JJ. That was because my issue with Mo, he posed a completely illogical question. It's not relative. No manager would come in after Emery and win the Champions League with that squad. But Chelsea's squad under Frank Lampard, with all due respect, had a bunch of failures. Didn't they have Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, who for them was one of the worst players? Yes, they had Kante and Kovacic. Hold on. For them, he was not a baller. They wanted him out after one season.
Good
he
for
had
them.
Mason Mount.
It's good fortune for me. I'm so glad they wanted him out.
That is not the question about the team or not the team. The question
didn't
was
they have
Azpilicueta
Azpilicueta and Rudiger and Thiago Silva?
Azpilicueta was at the end.
And
yes.
Conte and Jorginho in his prime. Like, didn't they have some?
That
really
has to
good
do with the question. I was asking.
I don't know.
The question was very simple, guys. The question was very simple. Would you have traded the journey with Arteta with a manager that will come in, utilize the squad defensively, and win you a Champions League trophy? People said no. No matter what the circumstances are, there's no context here, by the way. Because that team, by the way, you know why there's no context? That team that Chelsea inherited is dismantled now. It's gone. None of that team is on the team now. So that notion that he inherited the team, that is not related to the question. That is irrelevant. The relevancy is
no, but I followed it up with the question I told you. Does that also mean we have to be miserable for the 4 years after? And you said yes, and I told you 4 years miserable. No, I wouldn't want that.
Be where Chelsea are now.
Yeah, no, I'm not so.
Mo, why didn't you wake up?
I wouldn't want that.
Mo, why didn't you wake up in the first day?
I think we'll
guys, let me read the super chat, please. Guys, let me read the super chat. Why didn't you wake up on the first day of YouTube with 1 million sub? I wish, I hope. I say this to say in life, there are no shortcuts to success. It takes time. Why do we negate this in football? Life isn't black and white. Let me pose the question back to you, Hybrid Ultron. Instead of getting Emery, Arsenal went and signed Pep Guardiola in 16-17 instead of getting Emery. Where do you think you'll be here now? And by the way, you pay Arteta a lot of money. You paid Arteta a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. And also, this question
see
is,
that question is correct. Hybrid Ultra is great, but also I'm gonna
I
reverse it.
I still think it takes.
No, but he's putting hypothetical as well. Why am not allowed?
We're not getting Pep Guardiola. We're not getting Pep Guardiola.
Why?
Like,
Pep Guardiola was available. Man City,
hypothetically, let's just say we did.
Right?
Can
I respond to Martin? Go ahead. You talk, and then I'm gonna talk. Go ahead.
Now, all I'm saying is, it's still gonna take him 2 or 3 seasons to actually start succeeding. Because that team,
but he would have definitely won. He would have definitely won.
Yeah, 100%. But it was still horrid. That team was not. No matter who comes in, that team was too horrid to win.
Can I put a comment up? Can I put a comment up?
No.
Top ranking. You keep saying,
guys,
please let me address a comment. You keep commenting, Mo, you're boring from the beginning. Yet you're watching, right? Seriously, you rattled me enough to the point that I post your comment on the screen, which is an irrelevant comment of discussion, right? And then you rattled me enough because you keep pointing, I'm boring, but yet you're watching. And Tevin, Mo, this question is dumb. It's not dumb. It is coming from TKA's question, Tevin. TKA asked, it takes time, but I'm asking you, does it take time with every manager or only took time with Arteta?
Yeah, but there's only one example that you can say that would guarantee us winning something, and that's Pep. But there's no way that Man City would give us Pep. There's no other manager you can go like, yes, we'll bring them in, and that guarantees you winning the Champions League. You know, so it's a bit of a false equivalent.
I think Klopp and Pep would have won us something earlier for sure. Like I will say.
Okay, so we get Klopp would have taken that Arsenal team to beat Pep with Man City?
Why not?
He would have done it in a faster time. Yeah, he would have done it in 4 years, maybe instead of 5. Yeah, I think he would.
Done what?
Because he's a better manager.
He would have. He
He's a
would
better
have
man.
got this the second, or he would have beat this. He would have beat.
He would have won the league. I think Arsenal will win the league this season. I really do. I think Klopp would have done it earlier than Arteta because he's a better manager.
He didn't even,
by the way, he also
couldn't
took
even do it
Liverpool
with
from the
his
same
Liverpool
position.
team after
He took
that
Liverpool
first
from
one.
8th and 7th. He took Liverpool from 8th and 7th, right?
Yeah, and got him to a Champions League final in his 3rd season.
And if you look at what he's done from the time he joined, the first season took them to Europa League final, second season top 4 Champions League, third season Champions League final, fourth season won the Champions League, fifth season won the league. There's no argument
why
that
didn't
Klopp
Klopp
would
do
have done it
with
faster.
Liverpool that he built to win the league? Like, why didn't he win it again?
No, but the question is not how many times would he have won it. The question is would he have done it faster?
When he won it against Pep, that was a bad year for City, right? Like, I think that they'd won it by Christmas. Almost,
No, because they finished with 99 points. Has nothing to do with City. 99 points.
So why doesn't he take this team, which he already has built with world-class players, and win more of those leagues?
Because Pep is better.
There's no way of thinking that he can come from like a team with Mustafi and all that kind of stuff and be better than the team he had with Liverpool.
No, but he didn't win the league
they have
with
an
the guys
ownership who spent less than us.
What happened to Souls?
Simple.
No idea.
And
he
ownership
has
has
to
spent
go.
less.
Comment in
Okay,
the chat,
the old FSG.
Yeah.
thing.
No, but
Didn't they buy, like,
Klopp didn't
Nunez
win.
and Diaz and all those
FSG
guys?
doesn't spend as much as the Kroenkes. You know what I'm saying? That's true.
But that's not a guarantee of success, right? Like, you think if he had Kroenke money
If
that
you
he
want to
would be
compete
more
against
successful?
City, it does.
I think that we've spent a similar amount of money to Liverpool, right? Since they built that Van Dijk and Alisson team. Like, when you go back to the quality that they brought in, if you
And those players were not world class, by the way, when they joined. Let's be real.
Yeah,
as well.
that's true. That's true.
Klopp
He
made them world class.
Yeah.
Klopp was the one that did that. And let's be real, maybe Arteta is our Brendan Rodgers, and we need a Klopp as well.
But we saw what happened.
That's too far. Come on, T. That's too far.
When he spent that money, when he had money to spend, he bought Nunez, Diaz, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister. Like, he brought players in. They still didn't win the league.
The reason that's too far, T, is because Brendan Rodgers' season was mainly because of one world-class legendary player he had in his team. And the moment that guy left the next season and Sturridge was injured the whole season, their team collapsed. It wasn't him. It was the guys he had. Right?
Oh, so are you telling me?
Continue.
So are you telling me that a new manager can build a new team and win stuff? I didn't know that, bro. Wow. Because a lot of people told me in this stream, if Arteta leaves, our club is fucked. You know what I'm saying? We need
nobody,
to start
literally
at the
nobody
beginning.
said
We
that.
need to buy everyone. We need to buy new players again. We need to buy a whole new team when Arteta leaves. You know what I'm saying?
I genuinely think nobody said that, T. I remember what Sol said.
That's
and
what you guys were
I said.
insinuating. You guys were literally saying if Arteta stays, we have the chance of winning stuff. But if he leaves, we need to start over. Khalas.
No, it's a disagreement between
I never said
the highest probability chance. Keeping Arteta with the team he's built or bringing in someone else and planting them and hope that they have some magical source that's going to beat Pep.
Okay, so what you're saying is we need a manager who is similar to Arteta, yes? If he leaves, yeah?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Stylistically,
I don't want to be involved.
Stylistically, I would say.
Would you take 𝐒𝐤𝐶
I'd take Simeone, but I don't think he would do enough to beat Pep.
Sorry?
I would take Simeone, but I don't think he would do enough to beat
What
Pep.
I'm trying to say is, isn't Simeone a better manager than Arteta, and they play the same style as well, yes?
I don't think that you can say that right now. Like, Arteta's played many different styles. Simeone's only played one. So I don't watch Simeone enough.
What?
I'm not saying we'll blow up.
Okay, don't comment on this. When you come to San Siro and we smash you on your head, you won't say that, but go ahead.
He said they play the same style, right?
We don't play one style. Absolutely, we don't. We depend when we need to. We are very similar to Arsenal.
Wait, are you guys, Mo, are you guys talking about Simeone? You're not talking about
Inzaghi is talking about Inzaghi or Simeone?
Simeone. He said 𝐒𝐤𝐶.
Simeone as well changes his style, but because we watch him in the Champions League only in big games, he defends as much. Like, if you only watch Arsenal against Man City or in the Champions League, you would think that Arteta is Tony Pulis, right?
I'm not the one that
said it. But that's not reality.
Simeone and Arteta play the same style, and I disagree with that statement.
No, absolutely not. Arteta is way more expensive when it comes to
exactly. It's not the same style.
If anything, though, don't you think don't you think Simeone's style of play would actually suit this Arsenal side anyway?
No, you wouldn't win anything with him.
Hang on, because at the moment everybody's talking about Arsenal having the best defence in the league, and the defence is going to be the reason why Arsenal win the league. Well, what's Simeone a master at? Defending and then hitting teams on the counter. Do you not think that's more suited to?
No, I actually think people get it wrong. When you have the best defense, it doesn't mean that you get a defensive coach. It's actually the other way around. When you don't have good defense, you get a defensive coach to fix the defense and play defensive football. When you have players like Gabriel and Saliba, Calafiori, Timber, that's actually when you be more expensive because your defense is good enough and you can afford to be more expensive. I think people are getting it the other way around, actually. That makes sense, Brendan? It's the other way around. You have very good defenders that should allow the attackers to more express themselves. So you have to have a coach that is more expressive.
Yeah, but the point that I'm getting to, Mo, is if we this is where, right, this Arsenal
Simeone
side
won't win the league against Pep Guardiola. He just won't.
No, but this is where this Arsenal side, and what Mikel Arteta has built off the pitch is more adaptable to other managers. So a Simeone could come into Arsenal and Arsenal would still look as good because he's got that defense there, which is what Simeone tends to lean on, right? And then it's just a case of being more expansive. Same with Inzaghi, right? This is a structure at Arsenal.
Inzaghi is not defensive at all, by the way. Inzaghi, in my opinion, Inzaghi is the best to Arsenal, but he won't leave now.
Yes, but the point that I'm making is this Arsenal structure, this Arsenal team isn't just, we've got to keep Mikel Arteta and that's that. I think other managers would be adaptable to what we have.
100% I agree with this. You have very good players, and I think other managers will be able to work with this.
Will they be able to
100%. Arne Slot would have been able to work with this. Inzaghi should be able to work with this. Alonso should be able to work with this. There are a lot of managers around.
It's not about.
I don't know.
I'm not saying we're going to blow up.
I don't know, Martin. But the facts are you haven't won the title.
I know,
you know what?
TK said that we were saying we were going to blow up if we replace Arteta, and I disagree with that. I think we'll be fine. I just don't think we'll win.
You know what? You know what, guys? Arsenal fans, for everyone that say, here comes the reality, right? There's only one fact in all this argument that we have been discussing. That you haven't won the league or the Champions League yet. That is it. There's only one fact, right? Everything else is an if. Can Simeone, can Inzaghi, can Alonso do it? It's all can. Will Arteta do it? No one is sure. There's only one fact. You haven't won yet. It's the only fact.
Exactly. And that's why I talk like
this fact. I think once you accept this fact, you'll be open to more possibilities and probabilities in life.
Yes.
No, I'm open to the probabilities. I disagree on the.
I mean, I said if he doesn't progress us, he needs to go. I already said that. If he stagnates or regresses, he definitely needs to go.
Ashraf, you've been consistent with that, but let's be real. Yeah, that's why I like to challenge the Arteta sexuals, the people who like and love Arteta more than Arsenal Football Club. You know?
Yeah, that's bad. I like to
challenge them. Agree with that.
I like
to
challenge them and make these kinds of arguments. I like to.
Do you think that is insulting, Arteta sexuals?
Very insulting because it makes it sound like people are using no logic. They're just like sexually attracted to someone, and it has nothing to do with their ability to manage a football club. I'd happily take another manager after Arteta. Like if he goes, I'm not going to cry. But I just think that logically he has our best chance of success, and that's different to being, wanting to bone him.
Like I think it was a mistake to give him a 3-year contract extension. I was with T in a stream with Saad, and I said that I'm not loyal to any player or manager when it comes to Arsenal. I'm loyal to the club. Like if you tell me right now, I was saying this before. People were saying in the summer about, we wouldn't get Mbappe if it means letting go of Martinelli. There are people who actually said this on like big Arsenal channels. I think that's ridiculous. I would sell Saka right now if I could get like a better right winger than him. You get what I mean? So I'm not loyal to players or managers that way. I just judge it by the overall performance, which is why I think giving him a 3-year contract was a bit too much. But that doesn't mean
the problem is, remember the video that was posted about would you sell Saka for a Premier League now? And people
that was mad. I don't understand why people said that.
Underneath that video, there were people agreeing with that. I wouldn't sell my star boy.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And
see, that's a better comparison than the Chelsea thing because Because losing Saka is not the end of the club. We can definitely get another right winger who might not be as good, but we will eventually get there. But to say like you wouldn't sacrifice one player and move on. So what if Saliba leaves next season to Madrid? Which is a possibility, right? It's not like it's a distant rumor. Does the club shut down? Do we expect to regress?
He did a bad tackle in the internationals, and now he's the crappiest defender.
That's also, yeah, you know,
Real Madrid won't want him after that.
I will keep Inzaghi because he's gonna dunk on your manager's head when you come to the San Siro. That's all I'm gonna say, King. I'm gonna keep him for sure, but I'm not like, I don't support anyone in my club ahead of the club. If Inzaghi fails to win the league this season, he should go.
Can I just say one thing? Before you said that there's so many ifs, right? No one knows. What we do know is that Arteta has built a 90-point team, roughly. Hopefully this season is going to be a 90-point team, but no one's ever been sacked with that level of performance before. Like, as a manager, I don't think you would ever find another manager that's been dumped for being second but getting 89 points, right? I think that he is a known. He is the only thing we do know in this equation. And every other manager is a question mark. There's no guarantee. And look, if we go down that road and another manager comes in and we fail, I can do my whole Lee Gunner arc and, dunk on everyone that thought it was a good idea to sack Arteta.
Maybe. Listen, people, I'm not going to keep the guys for long. No, who's alive? I can redirect to someone, but I don't know. But listen, can we get to 300 likes on this show? There's still about 500 people here. We're only on 206 likes. So hit that like button, people. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit that like button. It's very important that you like the video. It helps the channel massively, 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 people. So like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Any last things you guys want to say before we end the show? Anyone want to say anything? No?
Stop talking about my club? I don't know. Focus on your own problems?
Stop glazing us until we win something.
Stop glazing Arsenal, Mo. Focus on your own club, mate.
Bloody hell, man.
I don't talk about Inter here, so no. We don't. But listen, big up people that are here. Thank you everyone that joined us. Big up people. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys later or soon. Guys, today we got Ahwa tonight at 11, but we have MHF before that, which is going to be a special show at 10 p.m. UK time. We'll see you guys soon. Tomorrow, we got 𝐒𝐬𝐞, 𝐂𝐨𝐝, and HUSAM. We'll see you guys soon. We're out of here.